I'm going to be going over your equations review homework. Tomorrow you have a quiz, and the format of the quiz is very similar to this homework. So by doing this and then also listening to this video, you should feel very prepared for tomorrow. You are either showing your work by using Equatio, or you're taking pictures of work that you've done on a separate sheet of paper, and you're uploading that as either a scan or a picture and putting it into this document. Okay, so in order to receive credit, you need to make sure that you have work, and then once you're done with the problem, you will write the final answer in the table above. So let's start off with the first one. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is I'm going to draw a line through my equal sign. And then I have parentheses, so I know that I'm going to need to distribute because I have a variable inside those parentheses. So -2 times -x is going to give me a positive 2x. And then -2 times -8 gives me a positive 16. All right, I'm going to copy everything down from my left side. All right, so I have x's on both sides of my equal sign. The smaller one is 2x, so I'm going to subtract 2x on either side. And then when I subtract 2x on the right side, these cancel out. 11x minus 2x gives me 9x. So now I have 9x minus 2 equals 16. I'm going to go ahead and bring this right up here. So I'm going to rewrite it. All right, I'm going to draw my line through the equal sign. My constant is this 2, and it's being subtracted. So in order to get rid of it, I need to do the addition property of equality. So I need to add 2 on both sides. Now I have 9x equals 18. And I'm going to divide by 9 on both sides. And when I do that, I get x equals 2. Okay, so you need to make sure that you write 2 as your answer up in the table. Okay, let's go ahead and look at number 2. So I need to distribute the 2/5 to the x, and then also to the -5. When I give it to the x, I have 2/5 x. And then what I can do with this 5 to make it a little bit easier, think about how many 5s are in 5. Well, 1 times 2 is 2, so my answer is 2, but I want to make sure that I have that negative in front of it. Then I'm going to write the rest of the equation. My constant is 2, and since we're subtracting 2, I'm going to do the inverse to get rid of it, so I'm going to add 2. Now on the right side of my equal sign, I have 10, and then on the left side, I have 2/5 x. In order to get x by itself, since the coefficient is a fraction, I need to multiply by the reciprocal, so I'm going to do that in red. So I'm going to multiply by 5/2 and do that on both sides. These are going to cancel out on the left, so on the left I am left with x, and then on the right hand side I am multiplying across, so 10 times 5 gives me 50, and then 2 is in my denominator. We are not done, we need to simplify, so my final answer is x equals 25. So we need to make sure that we write this up at the top, and so this was number 2, and so our answer is 25. Moving on to number 3, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line through the equal sign. My variable is on my left hand side, and I need to go ahead and get rid of my constant on that side, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. When I do that, these cancel out, and then on the right hand side, I'm going to have -2. Okay, this one's a little different. Since my variable is in the numerator, what I can do is I see that the variable is being divided by 4. That's what's in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 4 in order to get rid of it. So I'm going to multiply it by 4 on the left side and the right side. So when I do that on the right hand side, I get negative 8. And then on the left side, I am left with negative 1x. I want to make sure that I just have x, not negative x. So if I divide by negative 1 on both sides, then my answer is x equals positive 8. And so let's make sure that we go up to the top and write in our answer of positive 8 next to number 3. So now we are on to the back. With this one, with number 4, we have variables on both sides. And on the right hand side, it looks like we're going to need to combine like terms. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's rewrite the left side as it is. So 8c plus 3. And then we have a positive c and then negative 2c. And when we combine those, we're going to get negative 1c or negative c minus 7. Okay, so now I have c's on both sides of my equal sign. I'm going to get rid of the smallest one. The smallest one is the negative c. And so I'm going to add c to both sides in order to get rid of the variable on the right side. When I do that, I get 9c plus 3 on the left-hand side. These cancel out, so I'm left with negative 7 on the right-hand side. My variable is on the left-hand side, and my constant is with it. My constant is 3, so I'm going to get rid of 3 by subtracting it. And when I do that, these cancel out. I have 9c on the left-hand side. Negative 7 minus 3 is going to give me negative 10. And now I need to divide by 9. So when I divide by 9, I am going to get c equals negative 10 over 9. And I cannot simplify anymore, and we want to leave it as an improper fraction. So this is your answer. Make sure you go back to the front and that you type in your answer, since this is the answer to number 4. Number 5, so go ahead and draw that line through the equal sign. I have variables on both sides, so I want to get rid of the smallest one. Both of them are 10, and if you see, if I subtract 10 on one side, then I don't have a variable left, and what I'm left with is negative 2 equals 9. We know this isn't true, and since we have no variable, there is no solution for this problem. So that is the answer, that there is no solution. So on the front page, you're going to type into the table for number 5, no solution. In number 6, we have some complex fractions, and in order to solve this one, we're going to need to cross multiply. So first I'm going to cross multiply the 2 in the denominator of the right hand side. So when I do that, I get 2x minus 8, kind of like distributing. Then I'm going to do the 3 and the denominator of the left-hand side. So when I do that, I get 3x minus 3. Okay, now I can simplify regularly. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line through my equal sign. And I'm going to subtract or get rid of the smallest variable. So 2x is the smallest. So since it's positive, I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. This cancels out. On the left-hand side, I have x minus 3 equals negative 8. My variable is on the left-hand side, and my constant is with it. I need to get rid of my constant, and I can do that by adding 3 to both sides. So now I have x equals negative 5, which is my answer. So make sure you go ahead and type that into the front page in that table next to number 6. With number 7, I need to distribute before I can do anything else. So I'm going to give that 2 to the 3x and to the negative 4. And so when I do that, I get 6x minus 8. And I can just go ahead and write the rest of my equation. I do need to combine my like terms because I do have integers on the same side of the equal sign on the left side. And so it is negative 8 and negative 5. And so when I combine those, I'm going to get negative 13. So now I have 6x minus 13 equals negative 25. My variable's on the left-hand side, so is my constant. In order to get rid of my constant, I need to add 13 to both sides. On the left-hand side, it's going to cancel out, and so I'm left with 6x on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, I am going to be left with negative 12. And now it's time to divide since the variable has a coefficient. And so I'm going to divide by 6 on both sides. And when I do that, I get x equals negative 2. Make sure you write this in the table on the front. Last but not least, in this problem, we have a complex fraction, and in order to get rid of the denominator and solve, we need to get rid of this dividing by negative 3, and how we can do that is by multiplying by negative 3 on both sides. So when we do that on the right hand side, dividing by negative 3 and multiplying by negative 3 cancels out, so we're just going to write our numerator, and then negative 3 times negative 2 is going to give me positive 6. My variable is on the right-hand side. I need to get rid of my constant, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides, and I get positive 8 for my answer. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, please reach out to your teacher.